Hello, I'm Dr. Maxine Bryant, and welcome to the Virtual Professor, where we are dedicated to changing society one class at a time. Now, my whole goal is to educate, to inform, to inspire, and to challenge you, the listening audience, to get involved, to do something different, to be a part of the solution, and not just complain about the problem. In this segment of the Virtual Professor, we're going to be focusing on the impeachment process. Now, we're in the middle of it, but yet many people still don't know exactly where we are in the process. What is the process? Just what's going on with this whole thing called impeachment. So let me explain something to you. The impeachment process is actually a three-step federal process. So first, Congress investigates. And Congress, as you know, has two parts, the House of Representatives and the Senate. Now, the House of Representatives must pass by a simple majority of those who are present and who are voting, what we call the articles of impeachment. And this is similar to an indictment, if you will, in a criminal case. It's the formal allegation. So, step one, Congress investigates. Step two, the House of Representatives passes by a simple majority the articles of impeachment. Step three, the Senate then tries, if you will, the accused. They serve as a type of a jury. The Constitution requires that there's a two-thirds vote of the Senate in order to convict, if you will, a president. The penalty for an impeached president is removal from office. Now, in my conversations with people, I have heard it said that Mr. Trump has been impeached. He is in the middle of an impeachment process. He has not been totally impeached, right? And where we are now, the chances are very unlikely that the impeachment will be a reality in terms of him being removed from office. Now, there are just a few impeachable crimes that were identified in our Constitution. They include treason, bribery, and other things that are called high crimes and misdemeanors. Now, Donald Trump has been charged with abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. Now, for abuse of power, that pertains to the Ukraine call that he made on July the 25th, 2019. In that conversation, we are told that he requested political investigation into Joe Biden and his son. Now, this is important because Joe Biden is a likely 2020 rival for the presidency of the United States against Donald Trump. Now, in return for this information, Donald Trump promised $391 million of aid to the Ukraine government. And he also promised to give Ukrainian President Mr. Zelensky a symbolic, important White House meeting. The second thing that Mr. Trump has been accused of in terms of this whole impeachment process is obstruction of Congress. Now, what that means is that Trump's administration has refused to comply with congressional subpoenas. They blocked witnesses with firsthand information. They've stopped them from testifying. And get this, Donald Trump is the first and only president to openly and indiscriminately refuse or defy congressional oversight powers in an impeachment inquiry. Some would say he really does believe that he is above the law. Now, where are we in the process of this impeachment era that we're in with Donald Trump? The House has determined that there's enough credible evidence to pursue articles of impeachment. Where we are now is the trial. You all should know that if you've been keeping up with the news at all. In the trial, the House will appoint members of the Senate to hold a trial. The Supreme Court Justice will preside over these trial proceedings. Now, what's needed is at least 67 or a two-thirds vote of the Senate to favor a conviction. Our Senate is mostly Republican. The likelihood of a favorable conviction then is slim because impeachments tend to be along party lines. And let me just give you some tidbits of information, just FYI. In the House, a representative in the House of Representatives must be at least 25 years old and have been a citizen for at least 7 years. And they represent individual districts, not states, districts. Now, when we are encouraged to contact our congressperson, what we're really being told to do or asked to do is contact a House member. There are 435 House of Representative members, and they are elected every 2 years. Currently, the Speaker for the House is Nancy Pelosi, who is a Democrat. That's because right now, Democrats are the majority of the House. So the Democrats rule the House. Now, let's talk about the Senate. And that's important because the hearing, if you will, the trial is run by the Senate. To be a senator, you must be at least 30 years of age and have been a citizen of the United States for at least 9 years. Now, senators represent their state, so they are elected by their state constituents. There are 100 members of the Senate, that's 2 for each of the 50 states, and they serve 6-year terms. Right now in the Senate, Republicans have 53 seats. Democrats have 45 seats, and independents have 2 seats. Now, in the history of the United States, there have only been 2 presidents who have officially been impeached. That was Andrew Johnson in 1868 and Bill Clinton in 1998. Now, neither of these persons were convicted or fully carried out in the Senate in the trial. So they were neither convicted nor removed from office. Now, in 1974, many of you remember the White House scandal. Either you remember because you lived through it or perhaps you read about it in history books. Now, 3 articles of impeachment were approved by the House against Richard Nixon. However, before any inquiry was made, before the vote was finalized, Nixon resigned. There's a lot more to talk about as it relates to impeachment, and we will continue to have those conversations. But I thought it would be great to at least start the conversation today and inform you about the impeachment process itself. It is really right up on us. I also cannot impress enough on how important it is for us as U.S. citizens to get involved with our local government election of officers. Your local Senate, your state house, your mayor, all of those local people have a say-so or can influence what happens at the national level. Do not wait to get involved in the voting process just until we're voting for a president. Get involved at the local level. That's where your vote really counts. We're going to be talking more about that when we introduce our segment called the Electoral College. So stay tuned. Again, this is Dr. Maxine Bryant, just wanting to change society one class at a time by giving you relevant, interesting, informative data and information. Have a great day.